Hey stars, it's me, Shorter Star, and I'm back. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I am drinking some coffee today. Yeah, I said coffee. Normally, I love iced coffee in the summertime, so that's when I normally like coffee. Um, Leighton doesn't drink coffee at all. We're very much tea people, but I had to learn that when you invite people over, some people are in the thing where they have to have coffee after dinner and stuff like that. And a couple of times we didn't have coffee. We don't drink coffee. So now there's always some coffee in the house for if someone wants to join and have, a cup of coffee. Nothing crazy though, trust me. It's like Maxwell House and something like that. Ain't nothing okay. So I want to continue to thank you for your continued support for my channel. And please continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's what I need you to do. It's cheap. It's matter of fact, it's free. You don't get more cheaper than that. You know what I mean? Um, the weekend. Let me tell you about Friday. So Friday, I had a brilliant idea earlier in the week last week to schedule all my vaccinations in one day. Meaning, it was now that I don't play with any of them. Now that I am diabetic, I definitely don't. So I got my flu shot and my COVID shot in my right arm. And in my left arm, I got the pneumonia shot, right? And that was it. But I have never taken three shots. I've never, had three shots at one time. So I did it, baby. I took them shots on Friday around 10 a.m. and around Friday 11 p.m. I was in a state of discombobulation. Okay. First, it started off as a light headache. Then I just started to get these chills. I was freezing. When I say freezing, people, freezing. I listen. It was crazy. And then sometimes, at some point, my heart started to start beating so fast. I started to get a little scared. I was like, "Do I need to go to the hospital? Did I make a mistake taking these three shots at one time? And or is one of the shots having a reaction to my insulin?" So it was the matter of it being it could be a number of things, right? And I wasn't feeling none of it. A couple of times, I mean, when I tell you I gagged. It was a lot. I went through it, but then I woke up on Saturday morning after getting maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours sleep through the whole night, from 11 o'clock at night to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep. Other than that, I was there gagging. So I woke up. I wasn't feeling quite myself, but was not feeling the chills and not feeling how I felt the day before. But now my arm is swollen and my arm has a fever, meaning that happened last year too, where I got my injections for the COVID and for the flu. It got warm, it got very, very hot at that section. So whatever. I wouldn't suggest it. I'm not here to tell you what that's another thing. I'm just telling you what happened to me. I'm not telling you to take a flu shot, don't take a flu shot. I have friends all around. Some don't want COVID shots, some don't take flu shots, some don't want pneumonia shots. I have friends and people and family all do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Again, no shade. But if another pandemic, because now you can't say, oh, that would never happen again. If it happened once, it can happen again. Absolutely. We've never thought that, right? And the weird thing is, if something like that happens again, right? You know who to deal with. I know where my friends and family stands on, you know, how they want to be, for whatever the shots they want to take. You know what I mean? Some people take the shot because they work in the hospital or they work in that field and they have to. You know what I mean? I remember at the time of COVID, when it was time to come, when it was dying down, the company that I was working for, they pretty much was demanding us to get the COVID shot, and which was weird because we always had a choice to take it or not, but it seemed like allegedly that your job was on the line if you did. You know what I mean? So, nevertheless, um, It, I wouldn't suggest taking all three shots. It's just simple as that. That way, you don't know what which one set it off, or which one started it, or which one you're having an issue with, meaning what injection you're having an issue with. You take so many. So I just wanted to let you know I won't do it again. Next year, we'll say the same. I'll be taking 2 shots at one time, and that's it. I would wait a week and then go back for the pneumonia shot and things of the sort. I would never do them again in that manner. Okay, so I wanted to start today's video off with some things we haven't talked about in a while. Instead of just the regular puffy and all of this other crap that's still going on, let's talk about Wendy Williams, right? She's lately, allegedly, she's stating that she just found out recently through a cover story that was done on her in a magazine that she pays $25,000 a month for where she lives. Well, we all know that Wendy is under the conservative. She's under conservativeness, I think, a conservative, and she has a point appointed guardian. And we also know that Wendy lives in a high end assisted living type of place. She called it a luxury dump, is what she has called it in the past, right? Okay, so Wendy states that she just found out that she pays $25,000 a month for the high end assisted living place that she stays at. She said that she didn't know and it worries her. And she states that she thought that she was paying $18,000 a month. She said that I guess when she first started there, allegedly started living there, I guess at that time maybe it started at 18,000, but she's been there for a while, so maybe it went up. I don't know, allegedly, but she said that she thought it was 18,000. So I'm assuming allegedly that she thought from the beginning it was 18, not knowing that she's now actually paying $25,000 a month. Okay, and she said that it's hard. She said it's weird that she wound up having to find this out in a New York magazine cover story about her. When they went in the cover story, they went over her guardianship and her finances, and it came up that she's paying $25,000 a month for where she's at. And for what I'm understanding, allegedly, Wendy has no control. People that spoke for on her behalf, such as her guardian, allegedly stated that Wendy is so far from her finances as far as knowing what she pays and who she pays. Allegedly, she receives $200 to $300 a week as an allowance, and that they said that she spends that on snacks, Twizzlers, cookies. And magazines. And magazines are very super expensive. You can spend $100 on magazines very easily if you're that type of magazine person, and I am that. Um, so she spends the $200 or $300 a week on magazines and snacks and stuff. She has a budget for when she goes out to dinner and stuff, but she doesn't know what that is. You know what I mean? So this thing is still going on with Wendy and her court appointed guardian, and that everybody who's Sabrina Morrissey. We've been hearing things for the last couple of years about it. So I'm not going to say much about that. I hope it all works out for Wendy. And yeah, yeah, $25,000 a month. Yeah, okay. Um, Tell me what y'all think about this. Okay, I don't know if I should play the story or should I just tell you about it. Okay, the title states two children, aged 9 and 10, charged with attempted M, um, essaying, and a brutal attack on a 5-year-old little girl. So, what they're saying is a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old is charged for attempted unaliving, essaying, and a brutal attack on a 5-year-old little girl. Um, yeah. Um, let's see if I can play this a little bit and let them tell you the story, and then we can figure it out. Let's try to get into this for a second. If not, I'll just tell you the story.
A mother in shambles after she says she found her baby girl beaten and abused. For the first time ever, the child's mother is speaking out, and you won't believe who police say are the suspects. 19's Wendy Williams joins us now with this heartbreaking story, and we want to warn you, some of the images and details are graphic.
I literally saw the worst thing ever. Like, I saw my daughter unrecognizable.
What happened to Antavia Kinnebru's daughter is something most people will have a hard time understanding. She says her bubbly, sweet 5-year-old daughter was beaten and assaulted. This picture showing hair ripped out of her scalp. Police revealing startling details. The victims and suspects are under the age of 10 years old. This is shocking news to the 21-year-old mom.
I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Kinnebru's mother held her hand as she wept. She tells me out of safety, she does not want to share her daughter's name or show her face, but she explains what happened that day. She tells me on September 13th, she had dropped her daughter off at a family member's home near East 145th Street and St. Clair Avenue. Somehow, her baby girl walked out the front door. When Kinnebru found out, she rushed over and saw her 5-year-old being treated by EMS several blocks over.
Her hair was scalped from her head. She had bruises and blood all over her body. Her eyes was filled with blood. Her lips and mouth was filled with blood. Her nails had dirt, debris of dirt stuck in it.
19 News reached out to Cleveland police several times to try.
Yeah. So, heartbreaking, and to think seriously, let's bring this down, and to think that um, this is a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. Allegedly, it's a 9-year-old girl and a 10-year-old boy, and they apparently, allegedly, she like the story stated, she had took the child over to a family member's house, and somehow she got out the front door. And before anybody realized she had been gone out the front door, when they did realize, they saw an ambulance, or how God knows how long she was actually gone, right? And again, parenting. I'm not going to blame the mother. I don't know what the situation was. I don't even know what it is, and I'm not even being judgmental. But um, but even getting past that, can you imagine a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old did all of these things they're accusing them of, allegedly? Attempting unaliving, essaying, and brutally attacking her. You heard her mom say that she had blood in her eyes, blood in her mouth. Um, patches of hair was pulled out of her scalp. Um, Listen, I don't even know what to say about it. Um, this happened with a 9-year-old and 10-year-old. Seriously speaking, what in the hell? What is going on to the point where we have 9-year-old and 10-year old attempting to unalive you, essay you, and brutally beat you, attack you, and do all of this to a 5-year-old? I don't even know what to say. Mental illness is real. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I would like though? I would like to see the parents of these two kids and just see, can I, because sometimes you see how a parent acts and how a parent responds to things. And then you say you can tell that that's their child and the fruit don't fall far from the tree and all of that stuff. I would like to see their parents, because for a 9-year-old and 10-year-old to SA a 5-year-old little girl, we can think about the beating up. That's crazy. And the beating up is what turns to the attempted unaliving. You know what I mean? But then essaying them? Like, what are you doing? What? And I'm not saying any is better than the other. It's just all crazy for this coming from a 9 and a 10-year-old, is all I'm saying. Crazy. Bananas. What is going on there? Baby. Child. Okay, let's move on a little bit. We're going to figure out what's going on with that, and we'll get back to that. But baby, let's move on, because okay, so I'm going to bring this up And then we're going to talk about this. As I was researching this particular story, I had touched on this story before. I think I didn't go exactly into what the parents are saying now, but I do remember talking about this little girl before. Well, when I say little girl, she was 20 years old when this happened. Um, but again, it says funeral home was set to embalm an unalive woman who was still breathing. Here's what her mom now says. Now I'm going to show you a picture of her. If I'm not mistaken, the little girl has cerebral palsy. So this is the little girl. But you know, let's get into that, and then we can talk about it. A Michigan mother is speaking out 5 years after her 20-year-old daughter was mistakenly declared unalived. Erica Lattimore is pursuing legal action against EMS workers who contributed to Timesha's Champ's unaliving declaration in August 2020. That's anybody that did the death certificate, marking her death date. They said Tamisha had cerebral palsy and was still breathing when the funeral home workers prepared to embalm her body. Okay, so let's come out of this, okay, and let's talk about this. Now, I actually have heard of this happening before. How crazy is it for me to admit that I've heard of this before? But the fact that she had cerebral palsy, when I heard it before, of course, I've heard of a story or two where the person testified that they were considered legally unalive, and they were being sheet was put over them, and they was being sent to the coroners or wherever they go, and somehow right before their whatever's being done, they come back to life. I don't know. Well, this incident involved Tamisha Champ, right? She's a 20-year-old woman with cerebral palsy, and she has a shocking example of a woman being mistakenly declared unalive and then found alive after being placed in a body bag. Um, Tamisha's mother, Erica Lattimore, is pursuing legal action against the Southfield Fire Department EMS workers for the wrongful declaration of her daughter's unaliving. The incident occurred in August 2020 when Tamisha was declared unalive over the phone by an emergency room doctor at her home in Southfield, Michigan. However, it was later revealed that Tanisha's eyes were still open and she was breathing when she arrived at the funeral home in a body bag with a worker getting ready to embalm her. The incident then led to legal battles and has been widely discussed in the media. They said this is widely discussed. This has been going on for 5 years. She's been trying to sue, and it's something about they want to talk about the negligence, the potential negligence of this happening again, the negligence and the oversights in the medical and funeral industry. How come you pronounce her unalive? And because that's we all have going to have a time that they're going to put on our death certificate, right? And that's your job to make sure that that's what it is. I'm just saying. I mean, who wants to wake up in a body bag, squirming around, trying to get baby? Who wants to do that? Stop playing around. So, Tamisha's mother is suing, and she's stating that they've had a lot of opposition with the EMS, because that's who they're suing. They're suing the EMS, and I believe they're suing the funeral home both, but definitely EMS because they are the ones. Now, what they're saying was that this was all done over the phone. So wherever she was, they're not really being clear, but wherever she was, EMS was there. And they were on the phone with the hospital, telling them whatever the situation was. Well, they pronounced her unalive, and someone on the end of the phone was a doctor, and then there was the EMS workers. Why couldn't they just get her to the hospital and do that? Because you're doing it over the phone. You're going by what someone else is telling you. You don't personally know that to be true because you're not there. And so I don't know, that might be the thing that might not need to happen anymore. How about that? Pronouncing people unalived over the phone. Now, I think maybe that should be something first that we maybe should stop. How about that? I'm just stating. Um, because again, they're saying that she was declared unalive via phone by an emergency room doctor at her Southfield, Michigan home in August of 2020. Um, I don't know. The death declaration is what it is. You once you can. They said that once you some they because I'm trying not to use certain words. The unalive declaration is your death certificate. Okay. Um, Stop being so fast with that. They said it's on a real time medical data and includes heartbeat and breathing, but they were saying because she had cerebral palsy, there was stuff going on with her breathing already. So I suggest what my suggestion would be, not that anybody's asking me, but maybe stop trying to pronounce people unalived over the phone. Still take them to the emergency hospital and let them do that there. When they can, instead of somebody saying, "Oh, well, I don't see her chest ain't moving, I don't have no pulse," there'll be reasons for that. Mm. Here's some good coffee today. I'm wagging. I hope I don't get caught back up into that and want to do that. But the family is stating that it's just devastating to get the news that your child is unalive, and then to receive a phone call hours later saying that that's not, that they are alive. And what happens is Tamisha passed away 2 months after that anyway. And I'm just saying. I don't know what the situation was that caused her to happen. They didn't discuss that. They just discussed that the EMS and the doctors pronounced her unalived and put her in a body bag and sent her to the funeral home. And luckily, someone paid attention before embalming her that she was alive. But she did pass away 2 months after that. So, like I said, they've been having a lot of opposition with the with EMS and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been a lot of like hurry up and wait. They want you to do this and they want you to do that, and yeah, definitely have to check and see what happens. I want to see what the punishment would be for something like this. That's what I want to know. I want to know, and will you stop pronouncing people unalived, issuing a death certificate over the phone? How about that? That's just my. I mean, because every time I've heard about it is because somebody pronounced them unalive, and that was it. Nobody did anything further. I'm not saying there was anything further to do, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, listen, I got one more story for you, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, I tell you about the American Airlines and the issues that we've had with them. That is always something, right? Well, this one is a little different. And everybody's trying to figure it out. And they really haven't given an explanation. And that concerns me a little bit too. So we have one more thing to worry about. Okay, an American airline flight was forced to turn around after several passengers reported fumes in the aircraft, making them sick. The flight, which was headed from Los Angeles to New York, had to return to Los Angeles after the pilots reported smelling and tasting something that prompted them to put on oxygen masks in the cockpit. 7 passengers was evaluated and looked over. So, what do you think about that, guys? They complained that like there was some type of some fumes that started to make people sick. They didn't say what type of sick that the people like. Were they throwing up? Did it give them a headache? Did it make them dizzy, woozy? They didn't say anything. They just said 7 passengers started to feel bad, and then the pilot and the co-pilot also agreed that they were smelling and it was tasting weird in the cockpit. So they didn't want to trust that because who knows? You don't want the pilot and the co-pilot sick. So they put on oxygen masks when they decided to return back to LA because of people saying that they were sick. It's reported that the odor was so intense, pilots in the cockpit were forced to wear oxygen masks as the plane headed back to LAX. They said that 7 passengers were sick. And they sorry the airline. They apologized for the inconvenience and such and such and such. But they said that the jet was carrying 94 passengers and 7 crew members, and so 7 people got sick. So I don't know, and it looks like I'm assuming the way that the story is going, if the pilot and the co-pilot smelt it in the cockpit, which is right in front of first class. I'm assuming these 7 people was probably the ones in first class, and then somehow hopefully it was kind of caught up in that area. You know what I mean? Because I would not like to think that Miss Girl in 36B started getting sick on her stomach, and then the pilot started smelling it too. I don't think it went that far through. You know what I mean? Okay. So again, I'm just letting you guys. Look, that's my whole thing. Be intentional. Just be careful. And I don't even see any other way, anything else that these people could have done with this, because, like I said, sometimes we can have a gas leak in homes and buildings and stuff, and it can be odorless. You don't even know you're taking in fumes until it's too late. You know what I mean? So we've seen that. So I don't know, but we definitely don't want our pilots and our co-pilots who's supposed to be there when something happens to one. We don't need them passing out and getting sick in the air, like for real. So I don't know, American Airlines, like you didn't tell us what was going on, and you haven't explained. But whatever. If that's good enough for most, it is what it is. Listen, I love you guys. I want you guys to be intentional. I want you guys to check on your strong friends. I want you to check on your strong family members. Um, I want to answers. I want to do a video just answering questions that people want to know, either about me or just want to ask me questions about whatever. You know what I mean? Don't go too deep. Don't play too much. But I'm willing to do a whole show, a little 20, 25 minute show, 30 minute show top of y'all asking me stuff and me straight up reading from it and answering it. So if y'all got questions about me, relationships, my relationship, things like that, please hit me up. Please continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel, guys. I'm trying to get to 5,000, and I'm not far from 5,000. I've been kind of in this halfway place where people are definitely. I'm getting the viewership. I'm getting thousands of views, as any of you guys can see. I don't block that information. See, when you have a YouTube channel, you can block certain information that people can or can't see about you. I don't really block any. Of course, you're not going to get my analytics. Those are my analytics, so that's personal for me. But as far as my viewers and who's my subscribers and what else? Comments and stuff. I don't cut off the comment section. I want people to be able to comment. So please like and share if this is your thing. Like, we're into the fall now, so attire and things are changing, and I need to get me a couple of more backdrops now that the weather's changing towards winter time. I don't want it to look so bright and summery. I want it to kind of look a little dreary and give me a little dramatic. So, okay, a little razzle dazzle. Okay. Listen, I love you guys. Be intentional, and I'll speak to you guys as soon as possible. Like I said, please don't forget, guys, send me some questions. I want to do a whole show on just questions and answering, and that we're getting to know each other. Love you guys. Bye.